Lucifer here. I'm making this video because there's been an update. For those of you who don't think we're in a second Cold War in the moment, that any regular sort of viewer, provided he finds this video, which he probably won't, would hear that, they'd probably call me a crazy conspiracy theorist. But now, if you look at this, apparently Russia has decided to set up a rail-mounted intercontinental nuclear weapons delivery system, meaning I'm guessing he can transport, he can, Russia's one person, they can transport, nuclear launch pads, or like, like via railroad, I guess, so basically allowing them to transport it to anywhere in the country and then fire it from there, giving them a massive range of fire. And they said they've done this in response to the US's new missile shield system. I think it was the US's sort of progressiveness in nuclear capable and missile systems that it's been sort of setting up in Europe, around Iran allegedly. That's their that's I'm pretty sure that's the excuse they'll use. Oh, it's just for Iran. Despite the fact that Iran doesn't have any nuclear weapons yet. And even if they do, it won't be many. Certainly not one that requires something on this scale. And all of the missiles, the missile shield sort of points towards Russia anyway. So Russia have basically taken this as a threat, and I think it is too. Like, things have been heating up for a while now, especially since Russia and China have been behind Syria and Iran, supporting them. And they've been against the US's aggressive foreign policy, and so the US bring this into play as some of us think a direct, or a lot of us think as a lot of us think is a direct threat. That made no sense whatsoever. Sorry, I don't word this very well. So yeah, it's easy to see now that the temperature's rising. They said that they aim to build this early next year. Which is fucking quick. But events are moving along really quickly right now, and it's all going to go down. It looks like something's really set to go down in like mid to late 2014 to early 2015. By then, the US should be in Iran because, well, we'll get onto that now. Actually, in other news, Iran has pulled out of the nuclear deal, the temporary nuclear deal with the US and a bunch of other global superpowers. The aim of the deal was basically to allow Iran to continue to enrich uranium, but at like a small percent, or a much smaller percentage. Lots of people celebrated when this came about. And they thought, well, this is, global peace with Iran, and fuck those conspiracy theorists. Well, no. No. Okay, Iran has pulled out because the US, despite promising as part of the deal that it would hold off on some of the sanctions and wouldn't introduce any new sanctions, introduced new sanctions. So, that's the US for you, everyone. Can't keep its promises for shit. It is, after all, the world's biggest terrorist state. So, I'm not sure we can be surprised, really. But yeah, now Iran's pulled out of it, and they're seeking for a new deal. And the thing is, this is even more worrying if you take into account the paper published by the Brookings Institution. Put a thing to it down below. I aim to make a video on that. Basically, the Brookings Institute published a book or a paper in 2009 on how the US could best deal with the Iranian problem, they call it, the rogue state, the fucks. But and basically in the thing they said that one of the best ways for the US to get into Iran would be to strike a deal with Iran, I think it was, involving nuclear power and the like, and then later pressure Iran into quitting the deal to make them seem like, well, these guys obviously want nuclear weapons, So, yeah, the Iran deal is bullshit, and it's going to keep going like this, and the US is going to keep pressuring Iran until one day Iran's had enough of the US's shit. I mean, I would already have by now, after 30 years of fucking sanctions. Unnecessary sanctions, I'll add. So yeah, it looks like people are really taking a turn now against the US as everything's kicking off now. Okay, I'm gonna post the articles down below. The world's really heating up. Okay, this is part of my new series I'm doing. I've got the surveillance state update thing going on. Now I'm gonna do this Cold War update thing, so it should be interesting. Tell me what you think down below. Although you've probably unless you're slightly mentally deranged, you probably left the video for fear of your sanity by now. So that's one thing, I suppose. But yeah, tell me what you think down below if you're still there, and yeah.